We'll be deploying the reports in SSRS browser. So normally we develop the reports, right? So this is a report project we developed, and we develop the reports, done. But what about the end user? Why we develop the reports? We develop the reports for end users, right? We develop our reports for end users, not for ourselves. Okay, end users means he may be vice president, he may be some sales manager, he may be a finance manager, anybody. So we'll develop reports for them. So in that scenario, so what should I do? Okay, if I ask my business, so now if I want to see the report, I'll directly click on the report and I'll preview, so that I'll be getting the data, right? I'll click on the report preview, and then I'll get the data. See, I got it. But what about the users? Users can't do this. So users don't know nothing about a Visual Studio, and at the same time, you should also install Visual Studio on your machine. That is also one more thing, because if you want to install, so again it's a license and cost effective, right? It costs you when you want to when you want to install a Visual Studio, it needs some license, and at the same time licensing is nothing but you need to pay for that. And at the same time, users author should be like they also need more about this, right? Like they need to have more knowledge or something. Okay, so that's the reason what Microsoft did is that whatever the report you develop, you deploy the report to some location, and you'll give that link to the users, and whoever user wants to access the report directly, they will connect to that link or to that path in the browser, and automatically when they connect to that browser, they'll be seeing all the reports that we have deployed there, and they can run the reports from there. Okay, so now in order to deploy the report, the first thing I would like to see is that there will be one SSR SQL Server report configuration. Okay, yeah, so it is about reporting services configuration manager. When you connect to the reporting services configuration manager, first it will ask us which server name do you want to deploy. Okay, now I'll give this server name. I'll give this server name. But it's a local. I'll give the server name. It's a report instance. I got two instances. Okay, this is my default instance. This is other instance. So I'll give the default instance, MS SQL Server, and connect. Automatically now my server will be connected. I'm connected to the report service manager. There you can see service account, means you can create a service account where it will have access to entire thing. That is the one thing. Or else, yeah, you can create your own accounts according to the based on Windows authentication, it will get access, or you can give some user ID or password to access. Now the web service URL. Okay, there is a two URLs. One is a web service URL, other is a report manager URL. When I click the C web service URL, this is nothing but you will be using for deploying the like there are two URLs. I'll open the two URLs. One is a web service URL, and there is a report manager. And one more thing you need to see, web service URL as Badam's report server with the same Badam's 80 report server. Report server manager is same, Badam's 80 reports. Instead of report server, it is having reports. Means report manager will be used to view the reports, but both will be located on the same location, but you will be using separate reports and report server. That's the only difference, right? Everything is same. Here it is report server, and here it is reports. That's it. Okay, so when you use the reports, it is nothing but wherever you deploy the reports, the users, you will be giving this path for accessing the reports. Now I'll open the reports also. Now you can see. So this is the Badam's report server. Badam's report server URL. This is a URL for this Badam's report server. Okay. So when I open this, you will be getting the backend, not the user friendly version. You will get the different version where you can see the reports in your thing. Okay. These are all my reports name that I have. See, untitled. When I click, I have different reports. I can see all the reports, but it is not in a user friendly way. So in order to see the reports in AC, even though if you run the report from there, you get it. Now see, I go to the same, click on the training. Now I'll get all the reports. There I will click the untitled report. Right? Then also I'll get the same data. See here. But the thing was that, see, whatever data I got, the same data I got from here also. But normally this will be user friendly. Badam/reports. That will be always user friendly. See, when I click home, I am getting directly the data. But here, when I see, I'll not be having any button here. See, to parent directory. Yeah. So this is the home. So I'll just keep the browser side by side. You can see the same thing I'm getting. SQL Server and see SSRS training folder, SSRS training folder. Okay. So normally there will be two browsers for each and every report. Okay, there will be two browsers for every report server. Will have two. One is the web service URL, that is for deploying. You will use this server, this browser only for deploying, and this browser for the Windows purpose, for the users. Okay, wherever you are having report manager URL, that is Badam's reports, that is a URL where you will be using for viewing the reports, but for deploying you always use this URL. Okay, see, you can see configure URL used to access the report server. Click advanced to define multiple URLs for single report server instance. Report manager, configure URL to access. Click advanced. Oh, both are saying the same thing. They are given used to. Okay, so now we'll see. So this browser, I'll remember report manager URL is for viewing the reports. Report service URL is for deploying the reports. Okay, now how to deploy the reports means, first what I'll be doing is that this is my report server, right? I click on the report project, right click on the report project, go to the properties. There it will ask me the target server URL. Okay, so what I'll be doing for the target server URL is that I'll just go here, I'll click on this. Sorry, for deploying I must always use this report server, Badam's report server, that's it. Okay, remember Badam's report server, that is for deployment. Viewing, so let's say for deployment if I give this reports instead of the Badam's server, just I'll give reports. Okay, for testing purpose I'll give the reports and click OK. Okay, now you will go first by first. So what is the override data set? Whenever you deploy the report, you got the data set. Override data sets means it is nothing but about the shared data sets only. It will not worry about the data sets that are there in the reports. See here, every report has a data set, right? I'll okay. Yeah, it went off. Okay, see, even at the report level, I am having the data source and data sets at the report level, and I am having a data sets at the shared one. So shared data sets means it is nothing but it relates to the only shared one. Override data sets and override data source, it is nothing but the shared data sets. Okay, so normally I don't want to overwrite it. Okay, so you can write it. If you don't want to overwrite it, then it might throw an error like it says that there is already data set exist. So basically we'll do the overwrite. Sometimes we may not. So normally what is overwrite means, if the data set is already there, shared data set or shared data set is already there, then it will not do anything. Just it will not at all replace, it will keep quiet. Okay, if it is already there, it will not at all make any changes to the existing one. If you want to make changes to existing one, then you can write override datasets as true. Depends on the scenario, you can make it. Okay, target datasets folder. So now when I move the report, right? So this is the way how it will be like. Okay, so I'll be giving my path. I'll be giving the report server path here. Sorry, I need to connect my pad. Okay, let's say this is my report server. So I have given, so this is my HTTP server name, some server name I have given the browser, I got the browser. So what is meant by this is, remember carefully, this will be very much helpful for you. So you can see here target dataset folder. So inside that, the shared datasets and shared data source, right? I'm having one shared datasets and one shared data source. I can store them in separate folder. Only shared one. So I can give that name. I am naming it as a datasets. Okay. So instead of datasets, what I'll do, I'll just name it as shared datasets. That's it. So now what happens? A folder with the under this path, whatever the path I have given under this path, a shared datasets, shared data source, datasets, yeah, datasets folder is created. At the same time, shared data sources folder also created. Like it's here, see, target data source folder. It's a data source. So I'll rename it to shared data source. Shared data sources. Okay. So now a shared data source folder will be created automatically. If the folder is there, it will not create. If the folder is not there, then it will automatically create a new one. Okay. Remember this. Data sources. Next, target report folder. So what will happen? Whatever this shared data source is there, everything. So okay, I'll deploy and I'll show all my reports. A folder will be created called SSRS. Under this folder, my all the reports will be deployed. Whatever the reports I have here, right? All the reports will be deployed there. Okay, that's it. Now, Control V, Badam's report, apply. I did OK and OK. Now, in order to deploy, just right click on this and deploy. Now, when you try to do this, now you'll get some messages at the bottom. It will show you the build deployment one. See, why it is showing an error? Because we had given the browser, right? We had given this one, report services browser. We are not given this web service browser, right? That's the reason it is showing an error. Even though both are on the same path, but approach is different. So now I'll go here, click on the properties. Now I'll change to the report server. That's it. Okay. Now if I deploy, now it will be deployed. See, it is connected. Now it is deploying deploying data source, test, deploying data set under this, deploying reports. See, report 1, report 2, report 3, report 5, report 6. Successful. Succeeded. Nothing is failed, right? Done. If I go to my browser, okay, if I refresh the browser, now you can see SSRS, shared data sets and SSRS train, shared data set, shared data source and SSRS report, right? This is one we have did that. But normally, generally what we do, we'll also move this shared data sets and shared data source into this folder itself, into the SSRS. So when I click SSRS, now you can see all the reports. So to here only we'll be moving the shared data sets and shared data source. Okay. In order to do that, just what I will be doing, I'll go to the report. Okay. So yeah, I'll go here. Now what I'll do, I'll go to the properties. Done. So I'll give a path here because I want to store them in the SSRS folder. So I'll just give here SSRS / that's the same thing I'll give here also. Done. Apply. Okay. So now I'll redeploy it again. See. Okay. So now if I go here, now we don't have anything, right? Now that will be deployed here to this. So whatever the thing we got here, I'll just delete them. How to delete is that? Okay, you can go at the right side. Now you can select. See, you can see one arrow here. By selecting that, you can delete them. Okay, same with the shared data sources. Click in, delete them. That's it. Okay. So now in the SSRS report, now you can see all my folders. Okay, and then one more thing is that here you can see details view and title view. When I click detail view, now it will be shown in the detailed. When I click title view, now it will go this way. Okay. So normally we can even hide these data sets and data sources. Basically the users, there is no need for them. See, when I click shaded data set, I can see that only this one. Whichever I have in the shade, only that one I can see. Not all the data sets for each and every report. Okay. When I go back, when I click the data source, now I can see the data source which I have here. Okay. So you can even hide these data sources. Click on this. Go to the manage. You can hide the data set and data source. Hide in the view. That's it. Apply. Okay. Now I'll come to the SSR back. See, that is hidden. Now I'll go here, manage. Hide in the view. Apply. Hide in the title view. See, hide in the title view. It is showing hide in title view. Remember. Okay. Because we are in the title view. That's the reason it has been hidden. When you click on the detail view, now you can see them. Okay. basically why you do is that whenever you add multiple data sources, data sets, the users, you don't want them to look all the data sets and data sources, right? So just they can view only the reports, that's it. Whichever user you want to give the access, you will just give the path, so the users will access this path and they will do. Now when I click the report, see, cannot process the shared data set because I need to connect the shared data set now. Because EMP table, when I click on the EMP report, you can clearly see data sets, EMP, sorry, data source. Data source, what I am using the shared one. Okay. How the shared one? Shared one is a direct path. It's here in the report only, it is there in the project. But now you have changed the path for the shared data set, right? Because you have changed the path to the SSRS and the report server. So the system doesn't know where it is there. Okay. So because of that, now what you need to do is that I'll go to title view. Now you need to manually map the shared data set to them, to EMP table. Are you able to get my point? So now I'll click over here, click on the go to the manage. Now you can see data source. Okay. Now I can pass the shared data source. How to means, see, shared data source, browse. Where do I get from? In the home, there is a folder called SSIS. Under the SSIS, there is a folder called data sources. Under the data sources, I got it. I click test, select it and click OK. Automatically it will be here. And one more thing is that after selecting, you should also need to apply. When you apply only, the changes will be reflected. If you don't apply, the changes will not be reflected. Okay. Now I'll click on the EMP. Now the report will run. See. Okay. That's it. Now user, they will be accessing the reports from here itself, EMP. And you can see one report called report 1. Report 1 doesn't have any shared data source and data sets, right? It will run now. Okay. See, when I click on the report 1, it will run. Because it doesn't have any shared data sets, data source. Okay. Hello? Manas, Kondal and Vinay? అర్థమైందా మీకు? వినయ్, కొండల్? ఓకే. సో అంటే సింపుల్ ఏంటిదంటే, ఇంతకుముందు షేర్డ్ డేటా సోర్స్కి ఎందుకు రాలేదు అది? బేసిక్గా షేర్డ్ డేటా సోర్స్ అంటే సిస్టమ్ ఇక్కడ పాయింట్ అవుతుంది, కానీ మీరు డిప్లాయ్ చేసినప్పుడు పాత్ చేంజ్ అయింది కదా దాన్ని. ఓకే. కాబట్టి ఇది ఆ సిస్టమ్ ఫైండ్ అవుట్ చేయలేకపోతుంది. అందుకోసం మీరు మాన్యువల్గా మ్యాప్ చేయాలి. ఒకసారి మ్యాప్ చేస్తే చాలు ఇక. ఓకే. That is a shared data source and shared data sets. Now what we will be doing is that I'll just copy this path. I'll take this one, Control V. We'll see some security, how to set up the security. Okay. Now I'll enter. Now I can see the report, right? So normally what I do is that I'll close this reports from the internet server, close all tab. Basically I'll open the reports on the administrator, Internet Explorer, run as administrator. Oh sorry, what to do that? Oh. Yeah, I'll be running Chrome as administrator. Okay, because I'm unable to run the Internet Explorer as administrator, so just I'll run the Chrome as administrator. Okay, this Chrome is administrator. I'll close the old one. I'll close this one. I also close this, my other thing also. Yeah, so I ran this. Okay, this is my administrator. Next I'll go here. I'll paste the same browser. Done. Now you need to remember how basically what happens is that, okay, since my user have access to my database, okay, my user have access to these reports, that's the reason I can access the reports. Generally what you do, let's say if someone wants to have access, they'll come and ask you, okay, I want access to this folder. So what you will do, click on this folder, click on the, sorry, yeah, you can click it two ways. You can click on manage, or else you can click on security also. Both will take you the same place. Okay, now you can see my username is there, right? I'll edit my username from here. Okay, I'll delete my username. That's it. Bhaskar. Oh, sorry, I'll not delete it here. Okay, I'll delete from the administrator because I am the user, right? I'll delete from here. Click on the reports. Yeah, this is one more problem. In the Chrome, we can't do this one. Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, okay, now we got it. So it's administrator. Okay, we got it. Because the issue with the Chrome is that normally we can't, I'm having some restrictions. So sometimes I'll see, sometimes I'll not see. Okay. So Internet Explorer, now we got the admin. Nothing to worry. So I have run the Internet Explorer admin. So I'll go to the SSRS folder. Okay. Now you can see one thing you need to remember. When I click on the SSRS report, right? Go to the security. Now I'll just remove my user ID from this. Okay, I'll just remove my user ID from this report. Okay, so now currently what I'm having, I don't have any access to this folder. My user ID doesn't have any access. So when I go to the security, see my user ID is not having any access to this report. Now go to the Chrome. Now just refresh it. See, now you can't see that report. You can't see that folder, right? Why? Because your user is not having any access to that folder. You can only see the folders where you have access. Okay. Hello? యా అయ్యో క్రోమ్ బ్రౌజర్లో ఓపెన్ చేశాను. క్రోమ్ నేను రిఫ్రెష్ చేస్తే క్రోమ్లో నాకు కనిపిస్తుంది ఫోల్డర్. అంటే నేను ఇప్పుడు రెండు బ్రౌజర్స్ ఓపెన్ చేశాను. వన్ ఈజ్ ద ఇంటర్నెట్ ఎక్స్ప్లోరర్ వేర్ ఐ హావ్ ఓపెన్ ద ఇంటర్నెట్ ఎక్స్ప్లోరర్ యాజ్ అ అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్. నెక్స్ట్ ఐ ఓపెన్ ద క్రోమ్ యాజ్ అ నార్మల్ యూజర్. ఓకే, విత్ మై యూజర్. ఓ మీకు కనిపిస్తుందా మిగతా వాళ్ళకి? హలో కొండల్, నేను ఇప్పుడు నేను పెయింట్ ఓపెన్ చేశాను. పైన కనిపిస్తుందా? మానస్, చందన గారు మీకు ఒక్కసారి డిస్కనెక్ట్ అయ్యి కనెక్ట్ అవుతాయి మరి. ఎందుకంటే ఇంపార్టెంట్ పార్ట్ అనమాట సెక్యూరిటీకి. అది మిగతా వాళ్ళకి అర్థమైందా? హలో, ఎందుకంటే సెక్యూరిటీ పరంగా, ఎందుకంటే నాకు అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్ ఓపెన్ చేసిన కాబట్టి నాకు ఇప్పుడు కనిపిస్తుంది ఆ ఫోల్డర్. ఎందుకంటే అడ్మిన్గా ఓపెన్ అయ్యాయి, ఎందుకంటే అడ్మినిస్ట్రేటర్కి దాంట్లో యాక్సెస్ ఉంది కదా దాంట్లో. ఓకే, administrator has access to that folder, so that's the reason I can see, because I have opened the browser as an administrator. So it will take me as an administrator, it will see. But on the Chrome, I'm just logged in. I open the Chrome as normally. Okay, but I can't see. I'll just open the Chrome normally also. I'll open the Chrome here by default normal with my user ID. So when I click, I can't see them. I'll not be able to see. Permission is are insufficient for performing this operation, means nothing. Perform means I'm going to other folder where I don't have access to that folder. Give me a minute. Actually it got stuck, so I'll just stop.